Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jared Cole with the Scrapper Tap podcast. I wanted to talk a little bit about 249 not going down, being canceled, but I actually spoke with my buddy Sam from the MMA Church podcast. You can go check that out on Spotify, iTunes, or Anchor. And we basically break down the fight we expected and the fights we want to see coming up. So I'm not going to talk about that today. Besides the fact that it is a bummer, 249 is not going on. Today, I'm going to break down the rankings, a couple of the fighters in each division, and who I expect to get a fight really soon, and also the dark horse in each division that I think within the next couple years can be a champion, maybe even within a year. So here we go. I'm going to start with the smaller guys going up to the big guys. So we're going to start in the flyweight division. So in the flyweight division, we do not have a champion because Joseph Benavidez and Davison Figueiredo were supposed to fight, they did fight, but Figueiredo did not make weight. Therefore, he won, but they couldn't give him the belt due to missing the weight. So we don't have a champion in that division. So I see here's some possibilities. They could run that back, and, obviously the winner will be the new champion. But we got some solid fighters, It's ever since Henry Cejudo went up to bantamweight, it's kind of been lackluster in that division. Not too many fights going on, but there's still a couple really good fighters. So the guys that I think can really make a run is Askar Askarov. He's actually already in the top 10, so I could see him getting the title shot very soon, maybe after Joby and Figueiredo run it back. He's a killer. He's undefeated in the UFC, and I could definitely see him being a title holder very soon. The dark horse in the division, I'm going to have to say, is Kai Kara France. He's a little further back. He's a good fighter. He has a great camp that he trains with, and I could see him, being trouble in that division as he gets a little older and more experienced. He's a solid fighter. So in the flyweight division, I'm going to have to go with Kai Kara France and Askar Askarov as my two dark horses, leaning a little more towards Kai Kara France because he's further back in the ranks. So in the bantamweight division, all right, man, this is one of my favorite divisions right now. Really, because there's a couple fighters that I just enjoy watching. So my true dark horse, he's ranked right around 19th or 20th in the division. I'm gonna have to go with Sugar Sean O'Malley. Man, I really love watching this guy fight. He's a solid fighter, and I honestly see him making a run. Now that he's back from his 2-year suspension, he just came back and got a first-round KO. And, man, he's a killer. He's super fun to watch. He's entertaining as hell. And I really see him making that run and becoming the bantamweight champion very soon. But here's the thing. There's some other really good killers in that division. So right now, Henry Cejudo is the champion. He's calling out a bunch of, older fighters that, have a great legacy, and maybe he's just trying to get that under his belt, beating some of those fighters. But the next fight I think he definitely needs to take is Petr Yan. He is a straight killer, man. He's going to be a tough fight for anybody in that division. He comes in there to knock you out. And so I could definitely see Petr Yan being a champion very soon, or at least contending for it. But there's also Corey Sandhagen, man. He's another beast in the division. So he's a little further back behind Petr Yan. So I see Petr Yan getting the next title shot, or at least within the next two title defenses for Henry Cejudo. I think one of them should be Petr Yan. Then possibly Corey Sandhagen. Sean O'Malley's a little further back in the division as of right now. Like I said, he had 2 years off, so I think that's why I think Sugar Sean O'Malley is my dark horse in that division, and a close runner-up would be Corey Sandhagen. All right, so we're gonna go on to the featherweight division, where This one, this is going to be probably my one of my favorite divisions right now, but also the my dark horse definitely is my favorite dark horse. It's going to be Bryce Mitchell, man. He is ranked number 27th in the division, so he is back there, but he is 12-0 and 3-0 in the UFC. Still very young and just an entertaining, funny guy, man. But most importantly, he's a hard worker. And every single time he steps into that cage to the octagon, he puts on a fight and he knows what he's there to do. I really like Bryce Mitchell. I could see him being the champion, holding that title in the near future. Give it a couple years, get him a couple more fights under his belt, and show that he's there. I think Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell can definitely be the featherweight champion. So there's a couple other really good guys, man. Right now, Volkanovski has the title. I see him running it back with Max Holloway very soon when we get back to going. And that's a toss-up fight for me. I think Max can definitely take it, but if not, Volkanovski holds on to it, and I think he's gonna, eventually the roads will meet. And Zabit Sharipov. We call him Zabit, so I'm just gonna stick with Zabit. He's in the top 10. I think he's definitely going to get a shot soon. I believe he's like 6-0 and in the UFC, and he definitely he's gonna get his shot soon, and that's going to be a tough dude to beat. He's a long fighter, but he's very well rounded. But in the featherweight division, my dark horse is going to be Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell. So in the lightweight division, right now, that is Khabib. Khabib is the champion, and man, I see a tough task for his next couple fights, to be honest. It's Tony Ferguson or Gaethje. Definitely, they were actually supposed to fight in 249. Tony Ferguson ranked second in the division. Gaethje is number 5 in the division. So, I think both of those guys should get their shot at Khabib, and any one of those could easily take it, but can't be considered dark horses. They're already in the top 5. You also got to watch out for Conor. You never know, man. He can make the drop, and since he has that big name, he can definitely sneak his way right into the title fight. And, that wouldn't surprise me if he's one of the next holders in the lightweight division if he decides to stay at or go to 155. His last performance at 170 was, awesome performance. So I could definitely see him just saying, screw it, I'm staying yoked and staying at the 170 division. But, all right, there's a couple other great fighters in the division like Gregor Gillespie. Even though he's ranked number 18th, he is coming off a a knockout loss, a nasty kick from Kevin Lee. But he's a good fighter to also watch out for. But the dark horse for me, it's going to be Brad Riddell. I believe he's ranked 22nd in the division, or 25th, but is Brad Riddell. So this guy is a stud. He's a great boxer. He only has a few fights in the UFC, so he doesn't have a bunch of steam and a big name right now. So he won't get a title shot for a while. And obviously he's ranked in the 20th. But give him another fight, I think he'll crack the top 20, around 15 maybe. And you definitely can see this guy being a contender in the next couple years. He trains with great fighters. I think it's City Kickboxing with Volkanovski, the champion, and also Adesanya, which is another champion. I mean, he's training around great fighters, and that's one way to become one. And he's a stud. You can definitely watch out for Brad Riddell, and that will be my lightweight division dark horse. So then we go on to the welterweight, the 170 pounders. We got Kamaru Usman as the champion right now, and I believe he's gonna be taking on Masvidal. So, hey, Masvidal can do his thing and become the champion very, very soon. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm kind of leaning towards Usman on that fight, but I love Jorge Masvidal, so I would not mind seeing him take that title. So those are probably the next, obviously that's his next fight. Conor looks great in that division, maybe with another win or so. He can be right up there chasing after that belt. But there's Leon Edwards that is in the top 10 right now and just gets slept on. He is he's a great fighter. The thing is, he isn't so flashy. He's not going to go and get a bunch of KOs. He's going to do his thing. He's going to make sure he's going to outstrike you, outpoint you, and make sure he gets that W. So maybe that's not what everyone likes to see. So I feel like it's been a little tougher road for him to get there, but he's ranked 7th and definitely deserves a shot soon. I could see that being Kamaru Usman's opponent for one of his next couple title defenses. So do not sleep on Leon Edwards. But my dark horse is going to be the Texas boy, ranked number 15th, Jeff Neal. He is a beast, man. He has power. He has that KO one punch power. TKO. He's ground and pound. He's great on the ground with ground and pound, man. He's just a big tough dude. I definitely can see him making a run. He's ranked 15th right now, so give him a couple more fights. I think he's going to crack that top 10, and he's going to be a serious contender. Do not sleep on the dark horse, Jeff Neal, in the welterweight division. So then we go to the middleweight division. So this is the one that Adesanya holds the belt. Israel Adesanya, and I can see him holding on to that belt for a while, man. He's as advertised. He is a really great fighter. And he has all the components you need to be a champion. Entertaining fights. Maybe his last one wasn't so entertaining, but I'm not going to blame that on him. I definitely see him defending it for a bit, but he better be ready for some killer fights very soon. So, a couple studs in the division are Darren Till and Costa. I believe Costa is going to get the next fight. Him and Israel Adesanya have some bad blood, so I see that being a war. But, I would kind of be leaning toward Israel Adesanya to edge that one out. Oh, but that's going to be a great fight. And also Darren Till with another winner, so I think he's going to be right up there for the title fight. Like I said, man, they have some killers. There's also Jared Cannonier, ranked 7th in the division. Oh, man, I don't think anybody wants to fight him right now. He's a tough KO power, kind of like what I was saying with Jeff Neal. He'll ground and pound you, and you can't sleep on him. I can definitely see him getting a title fight very soon. But my dark horse is going to be Edmen Shahbazyan, number 11th ranked fighter. Ah, man, this kid's undefeated in the UFC. He comes to put on a show. But he's just a well-rounded fighter. And I would not be surprised if he's fighting for the title very soon and to be the middleweight champion of the world, man. That's what he has his mind set on, and he can also be the youngest champion. He's super young, I think like 21 or something. He could be the youngest champion in UFC history, so I think he's gunning for that. A couple more fights, I think he's going to be right in the mix for a title fight in the middleweight division. So that's my dark horse, Edmen Shahbazyan. So then we go on to the light heavyweights. All right. So that's the one that John Jones has the title. I believe John's going to get that rematch, or Dominic Reyes will get the rematch with John Jones. A lot of people think Dom already won that fight. I had John Jones on my DraftKings cards and some bets, so I'm leaning. I was already leaning towards John Jones, so I'm gonna take myself out of that one. That was a super close fight. It's a deservable rematch. Dom's the number 2 fighter, second-ranked fighter in that division, so I definitely see a rematch going down. But after that, we got John Blachowicz at number 4. He just had that knockout, I believe it was against Corey Anderson. He definitely deserves his shot as well. So say John runs it back with Dom Reyes, I think Jan Blachowicz is next up for that shot, man. In that same division, you also have Thiago Santos, which put up a hell of a fight even after messing up his knee against John Jones. So I can see him getting a win or two and being right back in the mix for the title shot. But, my dark horse is going to be Ryan Spann. This guy is a killer. He only has a couple fights in the UFC. I believe he's 3-0 in the UFC. He's a young stud, bro. A big dude, long reach. He has that knockout power. He's a little back there in the ranks right now. I think right around 15 or so, maybe between 15 and 20, I believe it is. And I can see Ryan Spann collecting some wins together and being right in the mix in the top 10. And that's going to be my dark horse for the light heavyweight division. Ryan Spann, watch out for him. So then we go to the heavyweights. So right now, Stipe is the champion. And, there's a lot of talk in that trilogy fight with DC. So I could see that happening. I could see, either one of those guys pulling it off. They each got to win against each other. If DC comes in with the wrestling, I definitely see him. He has that window, that opportunity to be the heavyweight champion again, and maybe he'll ride off in the sunset. But I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes down, and if they even do that fight. If not, I think Francis Ngannou or Jairzinho Rozenstruik will definitely get the next opportunity after the winner of that, because they're supposed to be fighting on 249. Say they push that back, get that fight going. Francis is number 3 ranked, and Rozenstruik is number 5. So I definitely see the winner of that getting the next heavyweight title shot. But my dark horse is going to be the number 20th ranked Ciryl Gane. Oh, man, this dude, he's similar to that Francis Power, man, that knockout power. He is a stud. He's undefeated in the division. You got to watch out for him, and he is a fun one to watch fight. I definitely can see him stringing a couple wins together and being in the mix. And I think he can honestly beat anybody in that division. For the heavyweights, one punch can do it from anybody. One punch can end it and change this whole thing up. But yeah, I would say watch out for Ciryl Gane. That's going to be my dark horse in the heavyweight division. Well, guys, if any of these gentlemen become the champion within the next couple years, you heard it here first on the Scrapper Tap podcast. I'm Jared Cole. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.